Hi guys, so I haven't put up a main channel video in what feels like forever. So I've been into London a couple of times recently on school trips, and all my life I've kind of lived on the outskirts of London, so I feel like I'm kind of a born and bred Londoner. I mean, I've been in and out of London plenty of times. Like, it seems like, yeah, I've always lived near London, in Greater London. I thought I would do a video about being a Londoner. Now, of course, being a Londoner, one thing you're definitely going to hear about is the London Underground, or as we all call it, the Tube. So basically there's like rules in the Tube which just, if people don't follow them, it causes pure havoc. First of all, in London we have these things called Oyster cards. They're a little card and you swipe them on the Underground and they let you through the barriers easier. And, you know, majority of people who live in London and the London boroughs have one. And it just makes life a lot quicker because you just swipe and then go through. The most annoying thing in the world is either when somebody has a ticket, so it takes them forever to put it into the machine and take it out again, or when somebody's Oyster card doesn't read. Because when it's busy, literally there becomes this queue of people behind, and you have caused that traffic jam, and you know you've caused that traffic jam, and you just should be publicly shamed. I know that that's really harsh, and it has happened to me before when my Oyster card hasn't read. When your Oyster card doesn't read or your train ticket doesn't read, you run to the edge of where there's the guy by the gate to let you through. Another thing on the tubes is that there are huge, incredibly tall escalators. And so a lot of the time, you know, people just stand on them, and that's perfectly fine. But say you're in a rush to get somewhere and you have to run up the escalator. There is a system in London. When you're on the escalator, if you need to stand, you stand on the right. And if you need to run, you run up the left. And that's the way it works. So then when somebody who isn't aware of this rule stands on the left, it literally becomes one of the most annoying things in the world. Because you're trying to get somewhere, and you know, that's your path. That is your running path. That is where you're allowed to run. And people just stand there. And there's a rule of London that you have to stand on the right and run up the left. That's just the rule. People need to figure that one out. Another thing about London is the mind the gap thing. Now trust me, you need to mind the gaps. Sometimes the gaps are like a good foot wide, and you know, you need to mind the gaps. You do not fall down those gaps. And other times, like, you have to step down onto the platform and even step up onto the platform. That is just part of life. You've been told to mind the gap, mind the gap. And also, mind the closing doors. The most annoying thing is that when you're late for something and the doors are closing, but then they all have to open again because something's obstructed them. Something has stopped those doors from closing and they've held up that entire train, and it is so annoying. The tubes are literally a battleground. You need to fight your way on there. When I went for these school trips, both of them started about 9 o'clock, which of course is rush hour time, which is a stupid time to attempt to get on trains because they are ridiculously packed. So anyway, I went onto this trip and I had like my school friends with me, and we all had to cram our way onto this train. And when you're on the tube during rush hour, you literally cannot breathe. I could have taken my feet off the ground where I was standing, and I was so tightly compact with everybody that I still probably would have been in the exact same position. So just be aware that when you're on the Underground, you can touch about 6 people simultaneously and it won't even be strange. Another thing about London, and it kind of ties in with the tube, is that you have to power walk everywhere. You cannot walk slowly. You have to power walk everywhere you go. You're down Oxford Street, you power walk from shop to shop. If you're like, you know, going to the trains, you power walk. You have to walk as fast as you can. If your shoelace is untied, you cannot stop in the middle of the pavement and tie up your shoelace. You have to move to the side because everybody is rushing. Another thing about London is that we always complain about the weather. I'm always complaining that it's too cold, it's too rainy, it's too windy. Actually, technically, in the southeast of England, we are actually in what they call a rain shadow, which is where we don't get as much rain. So we do always complain about the weather, but actually we don't get as much rain and don't get as bad weather as other places in the UK. Another absolute brilliant thing about London is when it snows. Now, as England, we probably should get snow at least once a year. Sometimes this happens, sometimes this doesn't, you know, it varies. But we should expect snow every single year. But when it snows in the UK, literally the whole country goes to a standstill. So there's not enough grit to like grip pavements and places. You know, there's not enough like resources to just deal with snow. There's not enough snow plows and things at airports, and it's just slightly ridiculous. And everything just stops. Like so many schools close, the train lines close, people take days off work, and we literally just everything just shuts down completely. We cannot deal with snow. The second it snows, it just is impossible to do anything. It does get slightly ridiculous. Now, my nightmare is that to go to school now, I have to take a train. And when it snows, I don't even know if I'll even get into school, so we'll see. So that was my video on being a Londoner. Just a quick side note, I've started a vlogging channel. It's called More Nana, and basically I've uploaded a couple of vlogmases, but I haven't done one every day because otherwise they'd be the most boring videos ever. So I'm just doing vlogs, vlogmases, I suppose you could say, on days when I do something Christmassy or something exciting. And hopefully I'm going to start using that channel a lot more to just post vlogs, because I really quite enjoy vlogging and they're really easy to do, and I don't understand why I don't do them as often, so yeah. So that's the end of my video, guys. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment down below if you've been to London and you've experienced any of these things, you've seen any of these things, you live near London or in London and you experience these things on a daily basis, and just let me know. Also subscribe, as I'm going to try and pick up my channel soon, although no promises, but hopefully it'll be sorted soon. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!